Right. Okay. Hello. On technical stuff because there's a reflection. Um, Hello. Yeah, we are live for the very first time. As you know, my name is Joe McGregor. I am the editor of Point, and we're doing our very first live stream. Now, there's a good chance things are going to go horribly wrong because I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, and also all of the team who work at Point are not in today, so they very kindly left me to do it myself and probably fuck it up quite badly, but it's part of the fun. Might as well become a meme, I guess, in some way or another. Um, for those of you who sort of know about the channel and the rebrands, I wanted to give you guys like a chance to talk to us and ask us some questions about what we're doing and a bit of the history of the channel. What I'm going to do is just go through some of the sort of the history of how we got to where we are today. So I started Point about 2 years ago. We launched in December 2016. So it's almost 2 years ago to the day. And yeah, the idea was we want to launch a really high quality investigative news channel on YouTube. We initially were planning to take over the Truthloader channel. So this was a discussion we were having, I guess, 2.5 years ago. After we sort of spoke to ITN and went back and forth, it kind of became clear that it was going to take quite a long time to sort of transfer over the channel, and there's some legal issues and stuff to do with Google. So what we decided to do was just launch Point as a brand new channel and kind of see where it went and what happened. The very first video we did with Phil Harper, who you might recognize if you're an old Truthloader fan, went viral. Did 600. Phil Harper, who you might recognize if you're an old Truthloader fan, went viral. Did 600,000 views, which was amazing. Yeah, I mean, it went viral. Sorry, I was reading a comment there. Just wing it. Yes, I am winging it 100%. Yeah, the first video we did for Point went viral, and it was just really encouraging. So we did another one that went viral too, also about Reddit, and we had some really good successes. We had a good story about Kick Messenger, which ended up in the Times in the UK, ended up in The Verge as well. We did that in partnership with Forbes, and then had some really good stories that came off the back of that as well. And then after some time, we ended up here with In Charge of Truthloader. So hopefully over the next year and years to come, we're going to have plenty of new content, some really interesting stuff for you guys, and I'm hoping that you guys are very much involved in the process. We want you to be directing us and giving us sort of ideas, and someone's just given us £2. Thank you very much. That's going to pay for my tube home, man. Thanks very much. There's a comment in, I'm guessing Arabic, but I can't read that. But yeah, thanks to Logion and joining. I'll get to questions in a bit. I'm just going to go through some of the sort of logistics of the channel and what we're planning to do over the next few months. We've got lots of stuff planned for you guys. I've got notes here I'm looking at. But we've got lots of stuff planned for you guys. We are bringing in new journalists. So you might have seen me on Twitter talk about trying to find new journalists to hire. We've spoken to some people, got some good friends who are going to pitch in as well. We want to try and get as much content to you guys as possible. One of the things is we're a tiny team. There's really full-time only 3 of us, and then we have one part-time guy and then some like part-time friends as well. Yeah, you know, we're trying to get as much content out as possible. We want to make sure the stuff is good quality. It's as good as our usual stuff, as good as our investigations that you've seen already. So we don't want to just spam you with rubbish that you might see on YouTube elsewhere. We want to make sure that it's informative and investigative, and it covers loads of different sort of unreported areas, which is a thing we like to focus on. So what we are trying to do is do some stuff that is typical investigative journalism. So that's like the core of what we do. We always do that. We're always working on some story or another. And then also some lighter stuff. It's obviously put that down a bit. It's obviously good to have as much journalism and news as possible, but these things take time, and doing investigative journalism takes a good few months per story, and we don't want you guys waiting for months for a story to come out. So we want to have some stuff that's easier to turn around, but is also unique and just good quality journalism as well. And also, I recognise that maybe if it's lunchtime at work, or I don't know, early in the morning, you don't want to watch a really in-depth and sort of difficult to digest video about something terrible that's happened somewhere on the internet. So we're going to try and find some sort of lighter kind of stuff that fits within what we do, make sure that you guys get that content too. So before I dive into questions, because it looks like some things are coming up, some of the stuff we're working on, if you liked some of the old Truth Loader stuff, we want to bring some of that back, but in our own ways, our own version of it. One of the things we want to do is bring back, at least, is 90-second science, which Truth Loader did a few years ago and was quite popular. We're going to change the format, so we don't just want to do a minute and a half of some scientific breakthrough. We want to sort of explore a topic properly, and something that's relevant to our channel, which is about digital culture and internet culture and technology. So we've got a very good friend of mine called Tom Cheesewright. He is a futurologist, extremely clever man. He knows exactly what he's talking about when it comes to the future and about science and stuff like that. And he's going to do roughly a 5-minute show about sort of future scenarios to do with technology that's being developed today. So I just looked at one of his scripts today. It came through a couple of hours ago. It's about exoskeletons, and he knows a lot of the researchers who are working on technology like that. He knows people who are sort of building, working in this area, in this area of science. So he's got some really good insight, and we can explore the topic properly. We can look at future scenarios whereby exoskeletons might be useful, and hopefully we can give it like a really good in-depth treatment, and people get a good idea of what that topic's about. We're probably going to be doing quite a few of those sorts of topics. We've got other things coming up, like space travel and biohacking. So if you guys want Tom to look at any of that stuff, anything you want him to sort of do some reporting or research on, then let us know, and we can see if we can do some reporting on it. We've also got, we're going to bring back a version of the Monday show, which seemed quite popular too. Again, we're going to change the format of that. We're going to get a friend of mine called John Hood to present it, and it's going to, I guess the Monday show was kind of satirical, and we'll do something similar, but we want to take some of the more investigative stories of the week and kind of break it down in a comical, satirical kind of way. If you've ever seen Charlie Brooker's Screen Wipe, Screen Wipe. It's pretty similar to that. It will focus on some of our stories that we've reported on, and you'll get a bit of extra information about the stories that we've reported on in this new show. But also we'll take other stories and let John do his thing with those stories. We've got a very cool show. Hello from Berlin, I see. Hello from London. We've got a very cool show which the first episode has been completed. It's called Hack Me If You Can, and it is about getting potentially a Truth Loader or Point subscriber to let us try and hack them. We had our first target, and I don't want to give away too much, but we basically managed to. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell you what happened. The whole premise of the show is that we try and hack people using the skills we've learned from doing investigative journalism and just from speaking to people who do hacking, I guess. It's quite interesting. It's quite a suspenseful show. It's very different to what we normally do, but it was entertaining. It's about 20 minutes long. We've got episode 1 ready to go, and we'll be publishing that hopefully either later this week or early next week. It's just a pilot, so we haven't got another episode to follow up. We want to see what you guys think of it. So do give us your feedback. Let us know what you think, and we'll go and make some more of those episodes. If you're interested in being hacked, then let us know. Now, it sounds terrible, but it's not that bad. We're not actually taking very serious information and doxing you and put it on the internet. We're not doing that. We're just going to sort of show you how it's possible to get your information, or potentially do other things like get access to your car, do some surveillance on you, stuff like that. What else have we got? Oh yeah, two new shows we're working on. One is based around tracking who funds certain organizations. So, for example, here in London, there is a new private police force, and it'd be quite interesting to see where the money comes from for setting up something that's quite controversial, like a private police force. We're going to be looking into stuff like that and tracking the money. I think with this show, it's not necessarily the most sexy or sort of massively interesting show, but as journalists, I kind of feel like it's important to do a democratic service and just provide information of, these large organizations and I guess private individuals, or even small organizations. Where are they getting their money from? Where does it come from? And that sort of transparency is important. So we'll be doing that. And we're at the moment looking for some new journalists to help us out with doing that. I'm hoping we can have something up before December, but don't hold me to that. But I will let you know, or we'll give you updates on what's happening. Yeah, I guess that's it. In terms of programming, that's it. Feel free to ask me about any of that or to repeat any of that. And I'll help you out and let you know what's going on. I'm going to answer some of these questions now. Just want to say big up to Hands Up again for giving us £2. Super appreciated, mate. I like that. So what investigations are you working on at the moment? So we've got a big one coming out in, I'm going to say 2 weeks. So the story is done, but we've got to edit it, and yeah, that can take a bit of time, especially when it's probably our biggest investigation we've ever done. I'm going to say around 2 weeks, but follow me on Twitter. I'll let you know if there's any change to that. I don't know what I can say about it without getting in trouble, but we're doing it in conjunction with Engadget, and a lot of the recent work on this particular story has been sat down with a lawyer. So we try to make sure that we don't get ourselves in trouble. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the level of seriousness of that investigation. I don't think I can say anything more about it than that, but it'll be out in about 2 weeks or so. What else we got? Where were you for like 2 years? Right. Okay. Yeah. So if you haven't seen the announcement on the channel, Truthloader basically wrapped up at the same time that we were launching Point. So me, Jay McGregor, I own and manage Point, and we decided to take it over and bring it back to life because it's very similar to the kind of work we were doing. It inspired us to launch Point in the first place. The original plan was to take over Truthloader after it wrapped up, but it took too long to make the transition. But Truthloader basically wrapped up. ITN, the former owners of Truthloader, didn't want to carry on with it, so we've taken it over, and we are going to follow the same principles and hopefully make sure that you guys feel like it was a good idea for us to take it over, and you get exactly what you want in terms of content. What else we've got? Phil's joined in. Big up, Phil. So Phil Harper is I guess the guy who made Truthloader what it was. Also a good friend of mine. I'm hoping Phil will come back and work with us. You can let everyone know in the chat, Phil, if you're going to come work with us a bit more in the future. But yeah, what do you say? We're doing other things. Indeed. If you haven't seen Phil's video about Reddit on Point, it's on there. We've re-uploaded it. Check it out. It's very, very good. It was Phil's idea. It spawned a whole series of content about Reddit. So highly recommend you go and check that out. Phil's an excellent journalist and a top bloke. Is it actually Phil? Phil Harper's videos on TR, is he just bigging himself up? Why would you do that? Would you guys consider doing a podcast? Yes. Yeah, we are thinking about doing a podcast. We have a quite a specific idea for a podcast. It's called well, it's roughly an idea. It's called Deciphered, and it takes sort of tech issues and tech stories that haven't really been reported or looked into properly, and explores them in a much more sort of at a slower pace. So maybe like an NPR type thing, and we want to do that. We want to make sure we get it right. We want to make sure we get the right journalists to do it. We want to make sure we get the sort of the right stories. A couple of things we're looking at is why it's so difficult for the police to deal with cybercrime. And when we first started looking into that topic, we spoke with the former head of the National Crime Agency, and we were going to speak to him, but he went a bit cold. But we got some good statistics from the Office of National Statistics, and I think we can probably explore that issue quite well. Stuff similar to that, we'll get some talking heads on, people who know what they're talking about, a good journalist who knows the topic, and just explore something over the course of 20 or 30 minutes. If you want us to do a podcast about something else, let us know. I'm a big fan of Serial. I'm a big fan of behind the scenes journalism podcasts. So open to those sorts of ideas. So do let me know. What else have we got? Get yourself a coffee as well. I've ordered. I've got a cup of tea, mate. Actually, there you go. Very strong. No milk. What were you originally start on YouTube? You had a prior channel. Yes, we did have a prior channel. It's called Point, and TruthLoader is now called Point. Go back in the video if you want to see the explanation of that, but that's pretty much a short of it. Excited to hear about your investigations. Best of luck. Thank you very much. It is a nice mug. Thank you very much. Big Bear 187 UK. It says today is a hug day, or Little Miss Hug. It's not my mug, to be fair. Not that I'm embarrassed to hold this mug, but there we go. You see that? But it's just in the office, so. No milk. Lactose intolerant. Sorry. How did you end up doing journalism? So I became a journalist about 7 years ago. Worked for a bunch of publications, mostly tech-related stuff. So Evening Standard, The Independent, The Guardian. Did a lot of work for Forbes. Still do some work for Forbes. And yeah, I've always wanted to be a journalist. I think when I was a kid, I was something called a press packer. So if you're not from the UK, a press packer is like a sort of children's journalism service run by the BBC. So I've always been involved in that in some way or another. And I always felt like there was a space on YouTube, well, not always, obviously, but in recent years, I felt there was a space on YouTube for investigative journalism, short form investigative journalism. So that is why we're here today. What year did you start on YouTube? So Point launched in 2016. You can see all of our old videos uploaded to TruthLoader. I'm going to stop calling it TruthLoader because that's confusing, but you can see all of our old videos uploaded to TruthLoader. But if you go to youtube.com/Point Report, which you're obviously on now, you can see all of our old videos uploaded in late 2016 and all throughout 2017 and early 2018. What else have we got? What comments have we got here? We'll be doing more live streams in the future. I want to make sure that this is like a sort of regular conversation and make sure that you guys have a good idea of the kind of work we're working on. I'm not sure how often we'll do it, but we'll probably try and do one after an investigation, because there's always stuff that doesn't make it into the video that is quite interesting. So it'd be good to sort of give you guys sort of, I guess, the background and additional information. And yeah, I guess just kind of make sure you have like a rounded idea of the work that we're doing at the time. But if you want us to do other live streams about anything else, we'll do that. This is hopefully the last budget live stream we do. As you can see, I'm doing it on my laptop, and you can see the hot sauce in the background, all the important stuff. But we'll probably make sure we do it with our proper equipment next time around, and it looks a bit more swish, and we've got our set up in it, and it looks less shabby. Looks less shabby. How do I put my name forward for a hacking? That is a good question. I will type in the email address to get in contact with us. If you're based in the UK, we can only do it if you're based in the UK for now, I think. Let me double check with my colleague, but I think we can only do it if you're based in the UK for now, particularly in London. If not, there may be a way of doing it, but I will put in the email address so you can let us know. Right. So if you email that, point@stadiumproductions.co.uk, yeah. Then okay, you're in the UK, brilliant. Well, if we're looking for a next target, so hands up if you're interested in being hacked, then we can definitely do that. Make sure you check out the first episode to see what it's really about. you might change your mind after seeing the first episode. But yeah, check it out and see if it's something that's up for you. But yeah, that'd be great if you're up for doing that. Any more questions? A lot of comments have come in here. So you've got. Has it been 21 minutes already? Bloody hell. I don't know how this happens. Any more questions, you guys? Did I miss anything? Is it dangerous in your type of journalism? We're not doing like war reporting. We're not doing war reporting. So we're not getting shot at, but we do a lot of internet culture, cybercrime, that kind of. Well, we don't do a lot of, but it's of that area. So hackers or people who know how to hack. So I guess there's always a danger that we could be a target if we end up doing a story on someone who's so inclined to try and take us out. For the time being, we've mostly been focusing on big companies. Journalism we do, to be absolutely clear, we don't just pick someone to investigate. If a tip comes in, if a story comes in, or tip, we'll look into it, and that's basically how we get our stories as well. But I guess, could potentially be dangerous if someone doesn't like the story we've done and decides to come after us. I think one of the biggest threats to us is simply being sued. The story coming out very soon could very well be a story that a very large company in a very big industry with a lot of money could try and sue us. And that's why the lawyer has been all over us on that story. But in terms of personal danger, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't want to. I also don't want to jinx it. So touch wood. Will you be taking suggestions for your investigative pieces? Hello, Chocolate Man. Jesus Christ. Welcome to YouTube. Will we be taking suggestions for our investigative pieces? Yes. Well, I mean, like I say, we don't really just randomly investigate anything. We operate on tips. So if a news tip comes in, or a whistleblower or something like that comes in, then we will look into that and investigate it, because that's kind of the right way to do it. On occasion, we have an idea for a story usually based on another news story, so it's almost like following up. But we try not to just randomly pick something to investigate, because it kind of feels a bit synthetic, and it's more about operating off of tips that are credible, basically. How much do Reddit hate you guys? Probably quite a lot. Probably quite a lot. Got another Reddit story coming up as well. So we'll see how that goes. The last Reddit story we did about the moderators who were speaking out about the abuse that they were facing as moderators and not getting any help from Reddit, generated quite a I guess I don't want to say aggressive response from Reddit. And they weren't speaking with me, they were speaking with my colleague at Engadget. And they were contacting him a lot and trying to get him to change a lot of things about the story, which we didn't do, obviously. So that was interesting. That's cool. I'd like to see what the work conditions at Amazon and Apple are like, as well as their business practices. Yeah, it's an interesting one, actually. That's an interesting one. Yeah, we so the Amazon one, again, so this is what I was saying before, Amazon work practices, there have been a couple of stories about that already. I think the New York Times did a really good story about that. It's quite long. They spoke to a lot of people who didn't work in the warehouse, but didn't work in the warehouses, but worked in the offices. And it spoke about like a really sort of 80s style corporate culture where it sounded pretty hardcore. And people getting fired and, you know, people working 18-hour days, little craziness. Because that story already exists, it's possible for us to go and look into it further. There's a reason for us to go and look into it because it's already been reported on in some way. So we could potentially dive into that a bit deeper. So it's a good suggestion. It's potentially something we could look into. If anyone out there who does work for Amazon or Apple or any other company, and you want to bring us some information about that company, then you can get in contact at point@stadiumproductions.co.uk. I put it in the chat earlier, but I'll put it in the description as well. But it's on our channel all over the areas to get ways to get in contact with us all over the channel. Also, we have a Signal number, which do I have that right now? Let me have a look. I'll put it in the description. But yeah, our Signal number for getting contact with us confidentially is in there as well. So Phil, what are you talking about? I'm banned from Reddit multiple times over. Platforms rapidly decline at this point, which is a shame, but there you go. Yeah, very true. Rule number 1 of the internet, Jay, never read the comments. True. You guys are like The Intercept. I wish we were. The Intercept is really impressive publication, and they do a lot of really good investigative journalism. They've got a lot of funding. We don't have any or much. The way that we are funded, to explain, is that we do a lot of production work. We're obviously skilled videographers, so we do a lot of production work, and that pays for all of our point work, really. I hope that the channel at some point in the near future will become self-sufficient, so we can spend less time doing production work and more time doing point and doing investigative journalism, because that's really what's the most important thing for us to do. But yeah, it'd be great to be like The Intercept. Amazing publication. I don't know if that reporter is dead or not, but as reporters, do you guys fear stuff like that? Do we fear being killed as a reporter? Yeah, 100%. I don't think the type of journalism we do, which is like cybersecurity, that kind of stuff, lends itself to being the targets of a rogue state that wants to kill journalists. That said, you know, we may do stories about China. I visit China semi-regularly, and it's entirely possible that, you know, someone somewhere in the regime doesn't like what we've said and I can get into trouble. But, you know, unlikely, and yeah, not really something that we have to worry about too much. Other journalists who do stuff about Saudi Arabia, who do stuff about oppressive regimes, incredible people, and they really do put their lives on the line. So yeah, very impressive, but it's not the kind of journalism we do. What else you got? We're going to get mega banned from Reddit. Yeah. I knew I subscribed a while ago for a reason. I think that sounds positive. Thank you very much, Yarek. Should I leave my girlfriend now that we are long distance? That's a good question, Jake Lee. The thing is about long distance relationships is, it can be difficult. You have to put in time. You have to really be prepared for it, know you're going to do that, and also put in time to go and see the person regularly. If it's full-time, permanent long distance, then it takes a very particular type of person to do that. If it's temporary, then stick it out, man. It's not that big a deal. I hope I helped. The Intercept is bankrolled by eBay. Yeah, that's right. The guy, I think one of the founders or one of the investors in eBay bankrolled the Intercept. And Phil's completely right. Modern journalism isn't properly funded. We don't want to have a big billionaire guy being our funder, because I think sometimes that I think it can cause conflicts of interest and issues, especially with the type of journalism we do. So we typically go after the big boys. We go after big organizations, and that immediately means there's one organization you definitely can't go after if you're funded by one. And I don't want to be in that position. So I'm hoping that the channel means that we can hopefully be fan funded and funded by you guys. On the sort of money and funding issue, we've got some very specific ideas on how to make sure the channel is self-sufficient. Whilst donations and that are really important, and your support is just incredible, makes a huge difference. We want to make sure that you guys get value for money. So we're going to be producing content that I think you'll want to pay for, and will be related to the type of journalism we do. I'm not going to speak about that too much because we've been working on it for the best part of a year now. I don't want to screw it up in some way or another, but hopefully before the end of the year, you'll see some really interesting stuff from us. The two ideas I'm talking about in particular are very unique to the journalism industry and how, in terms of how to fund the publication. So I'm super excited by those, and I'm looking forward to getting those out there so you guys can see what we're doing. Do you guys have a Patreon? Yes, we do. Let me post it in the chat here. Okay. Very slow. If you want to donate to us via Patreon, you're the best person in the world, by the way. So you know. Just so you know. Can you do a video on how to protect us from police companies accessing your phone data with drones and search and seizure? Yeah, actually, yeah, we were looking at different ways to be safer online in terms of make sure you're not snooped on, and making sure that you guys make sure you can be safe when you use the internet, and also make sure your phone calls are monitored, your text messages, and end-to-end encryption and all that kind of stuff. So we will do that. In fact, I'm going to make a note of it right now. One of the things about being a tech journalist for the last 7 years is that I've been able to interact with and test out a lot of that type of technology stuff that can keep people safe online. So happy to do a video about that. I think what we'll probably do is, after the Hack Me If You Can episode 1 is launched, we'll maybe do like a quick rundown of different ways to protect yourself from being hacked as well. We know quite a few experts in this area, so we can definitely help with that. All right. Just popped in. Haven't watched Truthloader videos for a while, although I'm an old subscriber. Has the channel changed ownership? Yes. So if you go back to the start of the live stream, I explain what's happened. But for anyone new, in short, me and my team, we run a channel called Point. It's an investigative news channel. We launched it 2 years ago in December 2016. One of the original ideas was to take over the Truthloader channel, but because of sort of legal and other issues, it's taken a while to do that. But yeah, we've taken it over from ITN basically. The short of it is that the content will be largely similar. It'll be a modern version of Truthloader, so it's going to be stuff, investigative news stuff that's based around technology and internet culture. So hopefully that answers your question. But do check out the start of the live stream to see a more detailed description of what that is. I'd love some more long-form investigative videos on YouTube. Well, Anna, that's a good point. You come to the right place. That's exactly what we do, fortunately. Yeah, check out the channel as it is now. I think there's 5 or 6 stories we uploaded from our previous channel on there, and have a look because you can see the kind of stories we do, and I think they very much fit that description, and in my own opinion are excellent. Do you have any plans for if you get a copyright strike to send to you? If we get a copyright strikes, if I understand correctly, and normally we've used someone else's content without permission, so that can be resolved quite easily. So yeah, I don't think that would be too much of an issue. Nathan Oakley, who are you and why am I subscribed to you? Well, you were probably subscribed to Truthloader before, and we've taken over Truthloader, and we are doing a modern version of investigative journalism that Truthloader was doing all those years ago. So that's probably what it is. Check out the channel, see all the videos we've been doing recently, and there's also an explanation in there about that. YouTube is going downhill. Truthloader hasn't uploaded in forever. Just make a new account. We have uploaded. I think we put 5 or 6 new videos up last week or 2 weeks ago. Check it out. Have a look. We'll drop a couple of quid. Thank you very much, Naima. Am I saying that right? Naima Marley. Thank you very much. Super appreciated. What else we got? Can you do a video that explains Vault 7 CIA? I don't know what that is. So doing an explainer on that I might not be the best person to do that, but have a look into it, I guess. How long do you think each video will be? 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes longer? Yeah, we normally aim for 10 minutes maximum because people's attention spans are short, mine included. So we try and keep it as sort of short and punchy as possible whilst keeping all the information in. I think the good thing to do will be when we publish a new investigation, we'll do a live stream, and if people want to know more, we can talk about the stuff that we left out of the video. But 10 minutes is pretty much our standard. I think if you go back and look at some of the older videos, between like 10 and 7 minutes is our average. Yeah, I think Phil's right. Truthloader did do a video about JTrig, so check it out. So you were a bit like Rich Hall. I don't know who Rich Hall is. Sorry. All right, thank you very much. Hands up. Appreciate all the super chats as well, and hopefully see you soon. Get in contact about Hack Me if you can as well, please. Does your channel have the YouTube Premiere feature yet? I hope so. YouTube said 10% rolled it. I think is that the channel memberships feature? We haven't got that yet. I asked YouTube about that, and they said it's being rolled out randomly. So we haven't got that yet. We should do, but we haven't got that yet. Any questions? Did I miss any other questions? I hope I answered your question about your long-distance girlfriend, sorry, Jake. I hope that helps. Not my usual thing, although that could be a side channel. Let me know if you want a relationship advice side channel in the downtime in between investigations. Can Point be compared to Vice in terms of stories covered? I think Vice, the thing about Vice is I think they do a lot of like people-led stories. So it's unusual stories about people somewhere in the world who are sort of hidden away. And then maybe they'll cover stuff about, I don't know, the illegal drug trade in Colombia or something like that. So it's not necessarily our thing. We're very much, I guess, if you're going to compare us to something or a Vice-owned brand, it'll be Motherboard. So we're very much like internet culture, digital tech, that kind of stuff. But we have been compared to Vice, so I think that's more to do with the production style rather than the storage itself. But check out some of our older videos that we uploaded last week to get an idea of what we're doing. The next story we're publishing in the next 2 weeks is a good video. It's a very good story. It's the one I'm most proud of so far. It's taken a very long time to do it. It's been a very arduous process. It's involved at least 2 other publications, one of which we had to pull the story away from, a very big national publisher, which you'll know. So yeah, it's a good story coming out in a couple of weeks. Let us know if you think it's anything like Vice. I don't think it is, but yeah, it's very, very good. I can't spill the beans, man. I'm sorry. We've worked on it for too long, and there's been too many people involved in it for me to screw it up now on a live stream. But yeah, just wait a couple of weeks and it will come out. It's a good one, though. It's a good one. Sorry, mate. What else we got? It's been 41 minutes. Time flies. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm super keen on hearing what you guys think of like upcoming content and stuff like that. If you want to do something like this, if you want to do something like this regularly, like a live stream to talk about the direction of the channel, I'm more than happy to do that. I think that'd be a really good thing. I think it'd be really helpful for us as well to make sure you guys are involved as much as possible. We really want to make sure that we do this properly and do the content to the quality of the standard we've been doing it for the last 2 years. So yeah, let us know if you want to do live streams regularly. Let us know if you want us to look into something in particular. Obviously, if you have tips on stories, let us know. If you want to feature in us in one of our non-investigative shows, then let us know. If you have show ideas, let us know. And let's just make this a regular conversation. Can you tell us about Facebook stealing data? Yeah, man. I can. Yeah, I really can. Done a lot of work on the Facebook related stuff. We did a story about Facebook data last September. That's also up on Point now. So go and have a watch of that. We have another Facebook story we're working on coming up very soon. Where do you want to start? There's just so many issues when it comes to Facebook and data. Yeah, where do you want to start? It's a huge issue. Tell us about your past stories. They're all on Point at the moment. So yeah, so if you go on our channel, they're hashtagged relaunch week. So all of the stories you did for Point over the last 2 years, they're all there. They're up there now. So go and watch and check them out and share them with your friends and let people know. But it's all up there at the moment. Can you turn on ADs? We'll support you and watch them. I don't know what that is, mate. Sorry, might have to explain that one to me. Looking forward to your stuff. Thank you very much, Mopski. Can you compare if Firefox or Chrome is safer? Instinctively, I'm going to say Firefox, but I would always recommend DuckDuckGo. That's the standard. If you're doing any sort of safe browsing online, DuckDuckGo is the one to use. Adverse. Sorry, Adverse. Yeah, okay. Do you mean turn off Adverse? Yeah, I mean, it's something we can look into. Like I say, we're not funded by anyone with a lot of money with deep pockets. So any money that comes in right now is a huge help and keeps us keeps us going. So until we have like a really solid base of supporters, then we'll probably have to keep adverts on for the time being. I'm sorry, I know it's annoying, but yeah, until we sort that out and have some solid supporters and a good base of people to keep the lights on, we'll probably have to keep adverts on for the time being. If you really hate them and everybody really hates them, then obviously we'll turn them off. It's, you know, what you guys want to do. All right, you watch the ads. Okay, sorry, you like ads. Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah. Yeah, more than happy to keep adverts on. That's good. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support as well. Will stuff such as Russia's cyber attacks also be covered? Yep. Yes. We will be covering that extensively. Not just Russia's cyber attacks. There's been other similar stuff from Iran as well. The West is involved in similar kinds of activities all over the world as well. So it's not just happening to the West is doing it elsewhere. So we will be covering that properly. We are considering, okay, we're now getting into like just idea stage shows, but we're considering like a disinformation regular show, so something that kind of tracks disinformation, fake news, cyber attacks. I'm not quite sure what the format of that would be, and we also need to have a journalist who really knows what they're talking about. I did put a call out on Twitter for journalists who know what they're talking about on those topics, and got some emails through, so I need to go over those and see who we want to work with. But we want to do like a regular show that covers disinformation, cyber attacks, and fake news, and just kind of tracks it basically, so people can have a central resource for what's happening and can kind of see where these attacks are taking place and what they're focusing on, and basically call them out, I guess. What else we got? Yeah, we've got a lot of show ideas. We've got a lot of show ideas. If anyone's tuned in the last 20 minutes, you might have missed my what I was saying about shows earlier on. We've got a lot of new stuff, new shows we're working on. So go back earlier in the live stream. If you want me to go over it again, just let me know. But yeah, it's all there earlier in the live stream. So lots of new stuff. What else we got? Any other questions? Just really appreciate you guys coming in to join us on live chat. It's really, really good. I'm hoping next time that everybody is here, so we can all sit behind or sit in front of the camera and introduce ourselves. Our video editor Anton is he's an amazing cameraman, but also extremely camera shy. He's probably watching now, but I will get him in front of the camera so you can see him, as well as the other guys as well. The BBC News Channel was live streaming the royal wedding, and I was absolutely glued to my screen. I detect some sarcasm in your voice, Mr. Harper. Yeah, unfortunately, I was too busy to watch the royal wedding. What about Apple censorship in China? Crashing the phone in mainland China when you use the Taiwan flag, or letting China run servers off Chinese citizens, Apple users. Yeah, I mean, I know that big tech companies like Google, in particular, have slightly different policies about how their technology is used in China because of the Chinese government. So it's definitely something interesting to explore. I think a lot of these tech companies will wax lyrical about sort of freedom of speech, and we'll talk about how they have these open platforms to allow discussion, but will happily also, I guess, not shut it down, but they'll change it in a way that suits the host nation. So it's an interesting topic. Rightly or wrongly, it's interesting to look into either way. But yeah, something we can definitely explore, perhaps in an explainer or just in a podcast or something like that. All right, guys, I think that's probably about it. 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 I think that's Phil's got something to say. Do you remember when journalism proved that the mega rich store all their wealth in huge offshore accounts in Panama and elsewhere, and then nothing was done about it? Cool. Yeah, I do remember that. So plenty of stories have come out. Well, in particular, Phil's talking about the Panama Papers, and I saw an interesting thing recently that I can't remember what it was, but there was a bunch of tech billionaires got together to discuss what to do in the event of like some kind of global catastrophe and how to sort of keep themselves safe and secure their wealth, which is pretty shocking. I'll see if I can find the link to that story. I think it's in the Guardian, but yeah, offshore accounts and dodgy money dealing is very bad. A quick reminder on how many of us watch Truthloader. Guys, Google how Truthloader built a loyal fan base. Okay. Yeah, yeah, Phil, you're right. Never read the comments. Never read the comments. I will not be answering your question, sneer quotes. That is disgraceful. Okay. I think that's about it, guys. Look, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the super chats and yeah, really appreciate your questions. Really good to talk to you. I'm hopefully going to do more of these, as I say, with the team. But you guys are great. Thanks for sticking around, and I hope you continue to subscribe to the channel. And hopefully, see you very soon. Thank you very much.